Thomas Casey, hello, good morning. Good morning on my end. It's 9 o'clock here. What time is it over there where you are?
Well, it's after 3 p.m., so 6 hours difference.
So, welcome to our 30th anniversary series. And you, actually, Thomas Casey, has been the longest dancer who has ever danced with Sinha Dance. How did you get into dance, Tom?
Well, I grew up in the prairies, but I did a lot of sport. And when I went to the city, I went to Winnipeg. Do I keep doing the sports that I love, the hockey, triathlons, and that? Or else do I go a little bit easier on my body? I went into acting, um, and immediately my instructor would tell me, actors are a dime a dozen. So I went to dance class uh, to get to be a better actor, and I stayed. At the time, Ted Robinson he had his family, he had his company there for several years, so they were well established and very familiar with each other, very comfortable to be on stage. The series, What Will Ted Do Next, was like, what is that? I've never seen that before. Years
So the
ago.
company, what was the name of the company again?
Winnipeg's Contemporary Dancers.
Yeah. What was your trajectory coming to this Quebec French province?
Well, at the time, Winnipeg Contemporary Dancers had a director named Tom Stroud. Tom Stroud, he had a strong connection with Jean Perrault in Montreal. Jean Perrault accepted to put three companies together to do another edition of Joe. When I got to Montreal, and I did this project with two other companies, the Toronto company, Dance Makers, and with Jean Perrault, Winnipeg Contemporary Dancers. I did an audition for a company I saw. I fell in love with because of their style, and that was Michael Montanero's company, and I got the part.
So, Michael Montanero was really heavy duty into high tech and technology and projections and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, he does this unplugged show where there's very little technology. And I think that's where I saw you dance.
I recall seeing your piece. It was the piece with the flags.
Yeah, loud sounds, soft and silent cries.
Oh my God, what is that? It was like these objects falling, and it was really risky for the dancer and all that. And because I just came from Montanero, where we spent a whole year and a half exhausted from working with technology because it's so delicate, soft, robotic lighting, and interactive spaces. So like the risk was the computer crash, but I never saw something like that. The objects and actually dancing with all your juice, like all your physical energy. I don't remember how the audition went. I don't imagine it was a big audition.
No. You didn't audition for me, Tom. I think I asked you to dance for me. That was it. And then, this was a piece called Les Jardins de Vapeur, The Garden of Vapors, a piece I did with yourself. There was Paris Mongrain, Isabelle Poirier. So they'd danced with me for a couple of years prior to that.
Yeah.
And we did this piece and we presented it at l'Agora de la Danse. We decided that this is a good fit. I think we decided that we work well together. I liked your athleticism, your amazing partnering skills, great partnering skills. And you brought also a lot to the table, Tom. You're very creative and imaginative. And then Tom, we became good friends too. Glace Noir, Black Eyes. Wow.
Yeah.
We had this huge project that was dropped in my lap. It was a piece that I wanted to do about addiction, and it was really interesting. The part about that piece that I found really interesting and unique was that we had this ice, glace noir, right? We put carbon into the ice. We melted. We mixed the carbon powder with the water, and we froze it. We had literally a freezer in the wings. That's me, Crazy Roger, and. You were manipulating these
Icicles.
icicles. Yeah, big icicles is one of my favorite parts of the piece is you singing that old black magic da, 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 with this icicle, and it was melting in your hand, and you're getting black all over, and then it was on your face, and that was really marvelous.
I was doing a lot of smaller projects in Montreal. I did a show with Jean-Pierre Blandon. It was a solo. it was all about the Y2K leading up to the year 2000. Really, everyone was being very, very stressed out. We were thinking that the world was going to turn off at the year 2000.
Talk with myself, Sophie Lavigne, Lucy Vigneault, two young dancers just fresh out of school, and here we are, these really experienced male dancers doing duets with them. But around that time, also Mireille, my ex-partner, got pregnant, and as well. So that something happened in your life too, as well, Tom.
Yeah, I think it's the longest story that between the two of us. I mean, obviously we're talking about 30 years of Sinha Danse, and it's extremely important. But it's something that touched us and brought us together. It's not a surprise. It's that we both became fathers at the same time.
Yeah.
And our children play together. Our children now know each other and play without us. They have other projects to do together. So it's long going. I mean, in a way, another generation is sprung from out of this union.
And I even got our two kids involved in one of my dance projects.
Noah, your son, and Damien, my son. They grew up together, and they're the best of friends. They still are. In fact, you were part of that week where Mireille gave birth at the same time as we gave birth to Talk, the piece we worked on together. You guys went into the theater the Monday. Mireille and I went into the hospital the Monday, and you guys worked without me for that whole time up until the dress rehearsal. The next time you saw me was 4 days later, Thursday, on the dress rehearsal only, because we had Sophie Michaud, our rehearsal director, work with you guys. Thank God she was there to support you guys. And I came to the dress rehearsal, and then I did the show, and we had a great run, and was the best week of my life. The birth of two very important events in my life: birth of my son, and Talk, which did very well. We toured Talk. The year after. We did a few gigs. We went out west. We did Vancouver. We did Cam on Tournée, all the Maison de la Culture. That was my first Cam on Tournée, I believe. And then, well, my God, another event that happens. We were in Toronto performing with Can-Asia Dance Festival, run by Denise Fujiwara. She gave us 3 evenings of Loha and Talk, 2 pieces really dedicated to mixing up Indian dance and contemporary dance, because Loha also had Natasha Bhatt, who was an amazing contemporary Indian dancer. It was a duet that we did together, a duet that you became somewhat familiar with. Do you remember why?
One particular night, I mean, you were not doing very well, and so you had a very bad back too at the time. Back was out, and you were feeling ill.
A gastro. Back was out completely, and a gastro. Yeah. I did the first premiere. I think I was fine during the premiere, and then it walloped me. And I couldn't do the 2 other shows. And then, so you jumped in, Tom. You put on the Loha costume. I mean, you didn't learn the whole piece. It was mostly a solo with Natasha Bach, but you kind of improvised with her, because it was too complex a choreography for you to learn that in just a few hours. But then Talk, thanks to Sophie Michaud once again, our rehearsal director there. She organized it as a trio.
But I received a nomination as an interpret of the year for that role.
Yeah, the Dora Maver Moore Award, very prestigious. Yes.
And as you recall, you went back for the award ceremony.
Yeah.
I said, well, it's a bit of a long shot. I mean, there's a list of people on there. I didn't go. I stayed with my baby in Montreal, holding my baby, and you were there. And then suddenly, Roger, you called me up and said, Tom, somebody has to speak. And I said, Joe came back. It was a really, really hard decision. And in a way, I've always regretted not doing Apricot Trees, the original. I love Joe. It was just such a moving piece to be in such a large group of people together like that. And I regretted that. I don't think I've said sorry enough for stepping out and for you having to find other dancers to fulfill Apricot Trees exist.
Yeah.
I did return to Apricot Trees after that. You allowed me to come back. Thank you very much.
We did a short video together, Haters and Baiters, a culture collision.
They want us outside their line of vision. Haters and baiters, the culture collision.
Which we filmed in the middle of winter. This is winter. I'm always giving people these extreme conditions, ice, winter, and we performed it. We shot in the middle of winter, a piece about the racism I experienced when I first came to Canada. And
Friendship was a throwback, Roger. It was a throwback to my time with Tom Stroud in Winnipeg, because Tom Stroud was all about theater and putting theater and dance together.
Sinha, the piece we did with Constantinople, live music, interactive projections.
I had a chance to be in an interactive environment, which is always a favorite of Mr. Sinha, to go into an environment that demands the technology that in programming and lighting that's very particular, even costumes that were reflective to the film that was being projected on our bodies. So a lot of different things happening at the same time.
Yeah, I remember that beautiful duo that you had with Kia Tabassian. Very simple. And it was very, very touching. I mean, we got him to move. We got Kia to dance a little bit. That was amazing. What happened was we got this gig in Algeria, and I was missing dancers. And I wanted you also to dance the duet of Sinha Danse with Elise Legrand. So I says, well, Tom, why don't I have you learn also an excerpt? Because they're only presenting an excerpt of Out of Bark and Bone. It was while you were here doing Sinha Danse that you learned it. You also had the opportunity to learn a bit of it, but then you went away quite rapidly, and then we didn't have time to really rehearse it with us. And then the next time we see you, we're on the stage in Algeria, and you're dancing it.
We were put onto a very large stage, along with a lot of other performers, and we were put at the very end of the program.
Yeah.
3 hours later. And then the next day, we were in a tiny space,
But that was more fun. We enjoyed that. I enjoyed that much more than the big space, but especially because we didn't have to wait 3 hours to perform, and we didn't have to cut it because they asked us to cut a piece. It was a duo that you and Francois did in Sinha, which was a beautiful duo, and they asked us to cut it because the evening was getting too long. You're in France now, Tom. How did that happen?
I had a chance meeting with a French artist, a French musician, in Saint-Jean-Port-Joli. I was working with a company at the time, Spéciale Danse, and Mary Brown was an artist that came as in residence in this village at the time with the choreographer. It wasn't me. At the time, she said, "Is there anyone else who would like to work together?" And I said, "Well, I'm busy all day, but either very early in the morning or very late at night, it's possible." At the end of 2011, I got a call from Mary saying, we had a good connection as a dancer, a musician. She's a flutist and a saxophonist. She said, "Are you willing to come and choreograph a show?" And I was convinced to go for a visit. And I started collaborating with a musician to work music and dance live. And it continued. It continued in such a way that I also started a new family too. Now presently, after a few years of going back and forth, I now live in France and I have 2 children here too. At 52 years old, I can still do that. And I just finished a 2-week tour of my own show.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a show for children, but it's a half-an-hour show. But I did 23 shows in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And next week I'm in Paris for a week to do 3 more shows, and then back in the Dijon, we'll start to really try to sell the show. We'll see how it goes. It's the first project that I do on my own. Dancing is like sport. Dancing is so natural for me. Dancing has been my therapy for me. I do it because I have to do it. It's a vocation. I think, Roger, it's a bit like that for you. It's a vocation.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a vocation. I live it, I breathe it, I eat it, I wake up with it, I go to sleep with it. It's our life. It's what we do. So, thank you very much, Tom. I'm sure the story is not going to end here. I mean, we've been best friends for years, colleagues. I love you dearly. We have a family that we share together. Yes, thank you so much for all you contributed. You helped make Sinha Danse what it is today. You helped make us grow. You helped me grow personally as a human being. It's a wonderful partnership that we had, and it's not gonna end, Tom. I mean, we'll do stuff together eventually. Yeah. I'm sure. Thank you so much for being there.
Thank you. You gave me an opportunity to continue my career. And so it changes me. It changes me and it changes the way people will see me, how my children view me as an artist, and what they will do with the rest of their life. They can at least always look back and say, okay, Dad, I don't understand why you do it, but I do understand that I need to do something I love.